February 19, 2013. A maintenance worker at the infamous Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles opens the lid of a rooftop water tank, and what he finds will shock the world. The bloated, lifeless body of 21-year-old Elisa Lam, floating face up in the dark, fetid water, her eyes open, as if still seeing something that the world never will. What happened to Elisa Lam inside the cursed walls of the Cecil Hotel? Was it mental illness, foul play, or something much darker than we dared to imagine? Welcome to Dark Whispers, where fear finds its voice. If you love to listen to paranormal investigations, creepypastas, and unsolved mysteries, do surely subscribe and hit the bell icon for more notifications. And if you love to listen to any particular story, do hit us back in the comments. And without any further ado, let's get back to our story. She was young, curious, intelligent. Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old university student from Vancouver, Canada. She loved books, photography, and writing raw, introspective thoughts on her blog, Nouvelle Nouveau. Her post painted a picture of a soul both deeply thoughtful and quietly troubled. In the late January of 2013, Elisa set out on a solo journey along the California coast. She wanted freedom, a break, an adventure. But what she found was something else entirely. She arrived in LA on January 26th. She explored bookstores, local cafes, museums, posting photos and updates to her Tumblr regularly. Then she checked into the Cecil Hotel, a budget-friendly spot in downtown LA. To her, it was just a place to sleep. But for those who know its past, it's anything but ordinary. The Cecil Hotel, built in 1927 to be a lavish getaway for wealthy businessmen. But when the Great Depression struck, its fortune collapsed. The hotel fell into disrepair, its ornate halls turned into grimy corridors, and slowly it became a heaven for crime, addiction, and despair. Over the decades, death became a frequent guest to Cecil Hotel. At least 16 documented suicides. 2 serial killers lived there. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, and Jack, Underwager. Guests found dead in bathtubs, dumpsters, even on the sidewalks below. Some say the walls of the Cecil are cursed, steeped in decades of sorrow, violence, and evil. Locals whispered about dark energy that never left, only lingers, unseen, unnamed, always watching. Elisa was first placed in a shared room on the 5th floor, but soon her roommates complained. They said she was acting strangely, locking herself in the bathroom, scribbling notes to herself, talking to no one. The hotel staff moved her to a private room. She called her parents every day, but on January 31st, the calls stopped. February 19, 2013. The Cecil Hotel had become a place of unease. Guests were complaining. The water tastes funny, it smells weird, the pressure is so low we can barely shower. These were the complaints that were told by the guests at the hotel. Some maintenance worker, Santiago Lopez, climbed up the stairwell, disabled the rooftop alarm, and opened the hatch of the farthest water tank. And there, floating in the dark, stagnant water, was the missing girl, Elisa Lam. Her naked body was pale, bloated, lifeless. Her clothes floated beside her like seaweed in a pond. She had been decomposing in the hotel's water supply for over 2 weeks. People had been drinking, showering, and brushing their teeth with that same water. What kind of nightmare leaves behind clues this grotesque? And yet, despite this horrifying discovery, more questions rose than answers. The hotel's rooftop was locked and alarmed. No guest could access it without staff credentials, and anyone triggering the alarm would have been noticed. There was no ladder up to the tanks, no nearby objects she should have climbed. And even she somehow got in, those tanks were nearly impossible to close from the inside. And yet, Elisa was found in, sealed. So, who lifted the lid? Who put it back on? And worse, what did? On February 14th, LAPD released a video, the surveillance footage from the Cecil Hotel's elevator. This would become the last known sighting of Elisa Lam, and what it captured was not normal. Elisa steps into the elevator, calm at first. She leans forward and presses several floor buttons in a strange sequence. Not just one or two, 4, maybe 5. She waits, the doors stay open. She steps out slowly, peeking into the hallway, like she hears something or someone. She ducks back in, hides against the control panel, then jumps out again, arms flailing, moving in an unnatural, erratic gesture, like she's speaking to someone or something. But here's the thing, no one else is seen on the stage. No footsteps, no shadows, no one entering or leaving. Just Elisa, moving like she's caught in a waking nightmare. And then she walks away, out of frame, into the hall, into nothingness. After that, Elisa Lam was never seen alive again. The official report concluded that Elisa died by accidental drowning. No physical injuries, no sexual trauma, no alcohol, no illegal drugs. But the toxicology screen was incomplete. Some of her prescription medications were missing from her system, and the coroner quietly changed the report several times before releasing it. Why was the report altered? Why so much silence? There were many theories revolving under Elisa Lam's murder case. The first theory was that Elisa suffered from a bipolar disorder. She was reportedly off her meds. Her behavior may have been erratic, paranoid, or even manic. But does that explain everything? Can a 21-year-old in a manic state climb to a sealed tank without setting off alarms? Open a 20-pound steel lid? Remove her clothes and then drown herself? All while alone, unnoticed, and without a single scream? And what about the elevator footage? That did not look like a mental breakdown. It looked like a ritual. The second theory is that in Korean folklore, there's a game called the elevator game. Press a series of buttons in a specific order. Right to the 10th floor and a woman will enter. Do not speak to her, do not look at her. She's not human. And then you cross into another world. Some believe Elisa was playing that exact game. In the footage, the elevator refuses to move. She presses floors in a strange sequence. She seems to be hiding. Then, she talks to someone off screen. Who isn't there? Was she followed into the other world? Did something come back with her? Nobody knows. The third theory is that it was a dark water parallel. Let me get into the details. In 2005, a horror film titled Dark Water was released. In it, a young girl's body is found floating in a water tank atop a derelict apartment complex. The residents had been unknowingly drinking the uncontaminated water. There are scenes of the mother in an elevator behaving erratically, hallucinations, water leaking through the ceiling. This film came 8 years before Elisa's death. Was that a coincidence or predictive programming? The other theory was known as the Cecil Hotel's curse. Since it opened in 1927, the Cecil Hotel had been a magnet for death. Pigeon Goldie Osgood was raped and murdered in her room. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, lived on the 14th floor while committing his killing spree. Jack Unterweger, another serial killer, stalked and murdered prostitutes there in the 90s. Suicides, overdoses, and murders, the building had been called cursed, a gateway for evil. Some believe that the hotel has its own sentience, like it's feeding off darkness. In the end, did it claim Elisa too? Or was it just something supernatural? Elisa Lam's death had left a scar on the internet. It still does. People still analyze every frame of that elevator video. Her Tumblr account remained active for months. After her death, were there scheduled posts or something else? Her parents filed a lawsuit. The case was closed. Yet the unease still remains. Because if this was just a tragic accident, why does it feel like a ghost story? Why does the footage chill our bones? Why does her story refuse to fade? Elisa Lam walked into the Cecil Hotel a traveler and became part of something larger, darker, and eternal. Some say she lost herself. Others say something took her. But one thing is certain. The moment those elevator doors opened, Elisa Lam was never seen alive again. If you've ever felt watched in an empty elevator, maybe you were never alone.